Stan Van said yesterday on the show that you can already see the team improving. There's slight improvements on the defensive end. And sometimes on defense, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see slight improvements. You just want those slight improvements to continue. On the offensive side, you can often see big jumps. And I think that's what we're seeing here. And it should also be stated, I think we mentioned this earlier, Monty McNair constructed this all beautifully. Like Domantas Sabonis is the nucleus of everything, and people had screamed and screamed to get shooters on this team, get shooters on this team, and it's not as simplistic as just getting someone who could hit a shot because he's doing a fine job in Indiana. Buddy Hield is a shooter. That's what he would be constituted as in the league. But you need guys who can make other plays. You need guys who could take smart shots, who can make smart threes, who can make other basketball plays, and that's what Kevin Huerter has turned out to be. That's what Malik Monk has turned out to be. That's what Keegan Murray has turned out to be. But I just love how Domantas Sabonis is like the nucleus of everything that is happening on the offensive end.
Yeah,
That's what feels like the big jump is coming from, is from him.
I totally agree. I mean, we talked about the stat with Herder, but I'll also point out like the difference between and this isn't like such a call out on Buddy Hield, just the difference between what I'm seeing from Herder and what I saw from Buddy is Herder has hit a 3-pointer in all 13 games. In 8 of the games, he's hit 4 or more threes. Like, he doesn't have the 0 for 12 or the 0 for 9 and then the 7 of 8.
Yeah.
So if you can just balance everything out and be consistent, then your coach can start knowing what he can do game in and game out to build around you. And I think that that's just what this team has lacked for so long is players who put consistent numbers up. It's really tough, again, Sabonis, right now you're penciling in like 20, 12, and 6. I mean, that's crazy, but you're not penciling it in. You're writing in pen. You know that that's what you're going to get from him.
Mhm.
Fox, you're putting in, 24 and 6 with the variable that he could go up to 35, but worst case scenario, he might be down to 18, but if he gives you 18, he's going to give you 10 assists. So there's all these like variables that you can start to work with a little bit, but at least you have some base numbers that you can put in. And the more of those players you have, the better you are. And Kevin Herter's instantly stepped into a role where he's become that guy. But I think Malik Monk is stepping into that too, where you're starting to be able to like consistently figure out what he's going to do. And I think Trey Lyles is giving you consistent minutes. You're having some ups and downs, but overall he's been really solid. So I think it's interesting the way that this team is being how it was built. I think it's still lacking like a major piece as far as like a shot blocker that can help Sabonis because that's been the biggest issue. But Sabonis is like he's just been tremendous, and he's been the ringleader for everything on both ends of the court. And they're still just learning each other. He's only played 28 games with this team, and that's not even accurate because of the like 13 games this season. Sure, he's played with these guys, but last year when he played 15 games, it really wasn't with most of these players. We're
Mhm.
getting to see him sort of hit a new level, and I think he's only going to get better.
My favorite thing about Kevin Herter right now, James, is everyone who writes about the Kings or who writes something about the Kings will note Kevin Herter's insane 3-point percentage right now, which is above 50%. And then they'll tag it with, there's no way that can continue. But if he, stays anything close to that, if he stays in the four, that's an amazing percentage. And I look at the way Kevin Herter plays and I go, why the hell can it not continue? And part of the reason I understand that, 50 plus percent from three is insane. But the way Kevin Herter shoots, I asked Kenny this question and I'll ask you, has Kevin Herter taken a bad shot one time this year? All of his shots seem to be within the flow of an offense, and maybe not in like a basketball chart, but his shots feel like high percentage shots, particularly for him. And I feel like, yeah, why can't he make? Okay, if 50 is too high, like I'm starting to look at Kevin Herter like he's going to lead the league in 3-point shooting when these 82 games are done.
Yeah, I think if he ends up anywhere between like 45 and like 52, that would be absolutely
And that's
incredible.
incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
That's an incredible number.
But the offense really does dictate that. It does. I mean, like the draw and kick offense and having Sabonis in the middle of the key, it's just tremendous. I mean, you can do so many different things with this. And again, we're only seeing like the tip of the iceberg. They're just learning where Herter likes his hot spots, where he likes to shoot from, and how he wants to deliver a ball. Like everyone is different, and I really do think it's only going to get better. I think the only concern that I would have is we've seen it like Herter's had one bad game, and as far as shooting, it was the Golden State Warriors game the first time, and even in that game, that was the second night of a back to back, if I'm not mistaken. I want to see what he looks like with multiples of those because we haven't seen that, and the way he runs around the track meet that is that shooting guard position, and how active he is. Like, do those back to backs wear on him a bit? Does he have like? Will there be times where he has quieter nights and he doesn't have his legs? And that's a possibility. And that's where a game like that, two games like that, where your your 3 point percentage creeps down just a little bit. But hey, I think he's been great. Everything about him has been really really fun to watch. Yeah, that's a good stat right there by Wilsey.
Will
Uh,
Z says 81 of his 95 threes have been open or wide open. In that Warriors game that you're referencing, that was on the second night of that Clippers back to back, he was 3 of 14 and a 1 of 8 from three. It puts his percentage in even more incredible context. He had a game where he was 1 of 8 and he's still shooting over 50% from three.
Even early in the season, that was what, game three, game
Game
four?
three? No, it was game three. You're
Yeah,
right.
so game three, he shot that 1 of 8 and was still
Mhm.
over 50% on the season at that point, which is incredible. Like after missing seven threes, he was still over 50% after
He
the
was
first two games.
He was 5 of 8 the night before against the Clippers, and he was 6 of 9 against Portland.
Yeah. So 5 of
Amazing.
8, what, 13
Yeah.
to 17? Something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Like if you, I would, a fun exercise. What would his percentage be if you took the Warriors 1 of 8 game out and the Memphis 1 of 4 game out?
Yeah. Well, that's
He
pretty
he
crazy.
shot he shot 10 threes against Charlotte and made 5 of them. He was a guy I really, really liked last year in Atlanta. And I was excited when that deal was done to land him. I did not expect this at all. Like not even close.
Yeah, I expected this. I expected him to flourish in this role. Like how much he was going to flourish, but remember, I kept telling you guys he only shot like 5.3 3 point attempts last year. If you could get him up to 8, he's going to average 17 points a game. If you can get him there and you can get him averaging one more free throw per game or 1.5 3 point free throws per game more, he's going to be between 16 and 18 points, and he has potential to score 20 a game. And it's 20 a game without even like pushing him, without even asking him to do something outside of what he does. I just think by adding more shots to him and more opportunity, he's going to flourish. And he's got just this really laid back, deadpan personality. I think he's perfect for this team.
Mhm.
Like really, he does. He just kind of fits in. Like whatever, you know. He came in singing during De'Aaron Fox's post game, not last game, but the two nights before, and I think he was singing Country Rose. Anyway, I found it humorous. Like he
Not
came
on my
in
playlist.
singing. Yeah,
I mean,